Good morning, everybody. It's about 10:30 here, and I don't know if you can see out the window. It is snowing, so I can't think of a better thing to do than be here with you. I know there'll be some shoveling today, and apparently it's going to snow all day tomorrow. So for those of us who thought spring was coming, it isn't. Anyway, I have a few things I want to share with you today, and maybe I'll share one of them first, and it's about ethylene gas. Now, there's some really good articles on the internet, and actually, probably most of you know that ethylene gas, if you comes off of fruit that's ripening. So if you're storing your fruit near your flowers, you're going to have flowers drop. You're going to have leaves turn yellow. You could have leaves drop because it is aging. The plant will age quicker when it's associated close to ethylene gas. So I knew that ripening fruit would not be good for orchids. In fact, orchids are very high on the ethylene gas sheet. Now, this is, if you were to Google grower direct and type in ethylene gas, you'd probably be able to read this whole printout. It's really, really informative. So it's odorless, it's colorless, and it's a plant hormone. It's put off by the plants and by the fruit. So if you're storing your fruit near your flowers, don't. So I keep a couple oranges. Here's my fruit bowl I just made. And I did have some fruit in it, but now I have nuts and dried cranberries on the top, which are really good for you. And in with the 2 oranges, I have, and it will help. Now, these are, they remove ethylene gas. They have something in them, and I'm probably not going to remember what it is, but if you read the article you will. And it absorbs, it's organic, it's a mineral that they put in, and it absorbs ethylene gas. And they make these, and they say put them in your drawer in your fridge to keep everything fresh. But just because I do keep some fruit out, and always have, I put them in my fruit bowl. And they apparently last 3 months, and you can order refills. And it's the same thing that when you buy produce bags that are supposed to help keep your produce longer. Some say they do, some say they don't. But it's the same thing that they're putting in the produce bags. And so, I mean, maybe you could lay a produce bag under your fruit, but some people find, because the thing with the produce bags is they're sealed and the air's not getting in. And a paper bag, you know, if you've heard, oh, if you want to ripen something, put it in a paper bag. Why do you do that? If you have a peach or maybe a tomato, it's not ripe enough, because it lets off its own ethylene gas, which help it ripen quicker. And they sell bars that are hidden in produce departments to keep things fresh. They're long tubes, and they fill them with the same mineral that you can read about, because I forget what it is. And it helps keep things in the store and transportation. But this article is by Growers Direct, who deal mainly in flowers. And what are the other sources of ethylene gas? And one of them is smoking. So I don't smoke. I actually never took up the habit. I tried it didn't get anything out of it, so I never stayed with it. And so smoking also will give off an ethylene gas. So if you want to have a cigarette, you know, don't do it around your orchids. Or actually, there's a whole list of flowers that are more susceptible. Also, as the temperatures are warmer, like in your home, they're also more susceptible, and that's why they try to keep flowers in cool places, because the ethylene gas, when the temperature is around 40 or 50, is not getting out as quick. So for those who didn't know, there you go. And I just kind of quickly Googled, and there's places, Bed Bath & Beyond, they sell these little apples that also go in the fridge, and spare capsules for anybody who didn't know. So that was one little exciting thing. And just before I repot this little orchid, this is the pot it came in, and I took it out of its plastic pot this morning, and it's kind of soaking in some water because it was hard as a rock, believe it or not. So it's waiting, but I wanted to show you something. Now, this orchid, you know, sometimes you have an accident and you break a branch. Well, I broke two. I broke one here, but it came off here, there. And this one here, it almost broke right off. It was hanging by a smidgen. So what I've done, now these are those little milkshake straws. I cut it so it was about 3 inches long, and then I just slit the scissors up so I could open it up. Because it was broke further up here, then I put the straw around the broken branch and clipped it onto another metal spike that I put in. And I'm kind of curious, it's mostly off, but I'm curious how long that will last now. I've tried other things other times, but this seemed like a really good idea. It's supporting it. Air is still getting in because the little slit I made in the straw is open a tiny little bit. I don't know how a thinner straw would be. It might be better, it might not, but there is air circulation with this one, and it is protecting it. So I just thought I'd show you what I had this big brainwave, because I had to do something. Mom's got the other one that broke off in a little vase in her room downstairs. So I'll just slide that out of the way. There. Okay, now I'm going to repot this one. And you know me, I'm always dropping stuff on the floor. But this will only take a minute. And this one is going in, oh yeah, I better show you. It's going in the newly painted sewer pipe. Jack went down and he found a piece of metal and he just crunched it up there, and it's just bound by its own pressure, and it's not going to come out ever. So here we are with our, this is some kind of sewer pot where more than one drain joins into one. So it's maybe a toilet and 2 sinks. I don't know. I'm not a plumber, but it's all one piece, and I haven't like glued them together like some people think. Maybe I've seen people do that though. So here we go. We'll just quickly do a repot. We'll take it out of here, and we'll just take most of the moss and stick it in. As you know, I always do, as soon as I bring an orchid home, I soak my bark for 24 hours approximately, and then the next day I repot it. And sometimes I take it a lot of the time, I take it right out of the pot that it's in, and I drop pot it until the next day when I do it. Now I have a cookie sheet on the floor because I tried something smaller, it doesn't work. So we're going to see how much we got here. It looks pretty good. You know, you always see, you see your outside moss where they've taken it out of a smaller pot and they've just right away taken it in a smaller pot and put it into a bigger pot and shove some more moss down the sides. Because a lot of times you can see that when you take the outside where they're greener off, there's like a hard little spot, the shape of a pot inside, where it's no longer getting any circulation or anything. But I pretty well watch, and well, Mom and I knew that these had just come in, so other than how they sat in the greenhouse, you know, don't leave them in the store too long, because those people don't necessarily, I mean, you never know who's watering them. If they're a store like ours and they don't have somebody that really knows their plants, well, anybody will be sent out to water the plants. So I think we're doing pretty good. I mean, I think it's going to be very happy in the sewer pot. And what's going to happen is I'm going to have to watch for 2 little minis. So this little one, this one's going to go on the top, and then I'm going to watch for 2 minis. You know, I don't have to cut anything off. It looks awesome. I'm going to quickly rinse it and into the pot. Oh, that's how quick and simple it is. There we go. I think we're clean. So now this won't need watered again, like watering days probably today. So I probably might not even, this one looks pretty healthy, but if you've had one with a lot of rot and things you've had to cut off, I wouldn't be afraid to leave it the extra week before you water, and let some of those spots dry up a bit and get rid of the mushiness before you start watering it full time. And that's why sometimes I say wait a couple weeks before you start watering. It's had a nice soak, it's going in damp mark, it could go a couple weeks. And I seldom ever lose flowers when I repot. This one here, this is the one I did in the last video that I repotted. There we go. And no buds fell. It's still quite happy. So, I don't know, I haven't lost buds or blooms, so just give them a little love as I put them in the pot. So this pot's not very big, but it's probably about the size of the plastic pot that, I don't know what I did with it, that it was in originally. So here's my bark, and I'm going to just put some in the bottom. You know, I love these pots, and the thing is, they're so happy in them. How can we complain? Okay, I'm just putting everything down in there, and then I'm going to just tuck all the bark in. Now, when I get for now, there's just going to be air in the 2 side little pots, but when I get some minis, and you never know, I mean, I don't know when, but when I get some minis, I'll put them in. And for now, you can see the roots down there, and that won't bother them at all. They're going to get air. They're still in the pot with the bark. I kind of take my finger and shake it all down. I know, we all know how to do this. And this will be beautiful. There. kind of go different ways, but there's lots of buds left on it. And I'll touch it up after the video because there's one other one I want to do, and I want to discuss one other little thing. So this will be our orchid pot, and I'll have 2 minis here. And if you can see down in there, you can see the roots. And I will put a little bit of bark in there, but not very much. There's going to be really good air supply. Jack drilled 1/2-inch holes all over this, so the air supply is going to be good and the moisture is going to be good. And the other triplets, I mean, they just took off in there. So there's that one, and that's how easy it is. So now we have the core basket. I'll let you look. It was just a sheet, and if you look close, you can see like burn marks, because I think he did make all these holes with a, what do you call it, like an iron, some kind of heated iron. And so I did put this on to hold the bark in. So it will hang. And this is my experiment, and I'm curious how they're going to do. So first we'll put some bark in the bottom. It's a fair-sized pot. And then we have this one. It's beautiful. They're all beautiful. Boy, I gotta get thinking of some names. So this one has been soaking. After breakfast, I got up and just put them in. Jack was making, roasting coffee beans. It smells wonderful in here. And because we roast our own coffee. And so he was busy doing that, and I just put these to soak until just now when he's finished. So this one has a stronger smell. I think it's we'll see. But there's that hard, compact center way in there. There's no air in there. Moss is for those who have to grow moss. It's great, but it's not supposed to get, like if I hadn't soaked this would have been like taking really, really hard. I had to soak it because I could tell the outside edges weren't bad, but the inside was not good. The other one didn't have a smell, but I really noticed a musty smell on this one. So don't be afraid. This is how, and I think it's important. And then patience, give them time. Let them get used to, I think they're orchids, I always say they're like me. They love their home and they hate to be disturbed, but this is for their own good. It's a better home, and so they just, they need a little adaptation time, and it won't happen overnight. So, you know, don't be too quick to say that it's not working. Give them a little time, watch them. And if you are worried, like after you've repotted them a couple months, bark comes out very easy. Check it over. I've done this many times with mine just to see if I'm watering enough, and you can see what's going on with it. And you'll know if you're not watering often enough or if you're watering too much. There's a little bit of a soft one. I always feel them, and if they're gooey, then I know. So I think we've done pretty good. Should rinse it off, get it in its pot, and that'll be it. So it's going to look beautiful. Going to sit in there, and probably the next time you see this video, it'll be hanging up. I don't know if I'm going to leave the spike on. I'll probably take the spike off, but I don't want to keep you any longer. You know what it's like when I repot them, but I want to show you one other little thing. We were at the thrift store, naturally, that's where we go, and I found these, and I thought they were, they come with a little clothes peg, plastic, and a little porcelain thing with a hole in the bottom. So if you can clip that little peg onto a plant or onto a pot like that, or if the pot is too big, you could put a little wooden dowling in there and put that in. So you can then stick the top of the clothes peg in the hole, and you got a nice little thing. And I think I'm going to use it. I'm going to put a little piece of masking tape and write the name on. And I thought, aren't those pretty little tags? And do you know what they really are? I Googled it, and I found out they're porcelain dinner. So you can put a little tag for everybody's name if you're having a fancy dinner. They sell them online still. They're $6 or $7 for 6, or $9 for 6. And the shipping costs you double that. So if you can find them in a local store or something. So this is what I'm going to be doing. This is my other cute little thing, and it's nicer than what I've been using. So thank you for joining me again. Jack has his lights up in the other room, but I'm going to save that for a while. So we have one in warm light, one in cool light, but they're, I'm not going to remember the name of it. They're all the types of, okay, I'm not going to remember, but they emit the proper, all the different things that you need for plants and people. It is sure nice. I can't wait to plug it in the morning when we sit there for toast and coffee. But thanks for joining me, and thank you to the subscribers and the comments. I love the comments. I enjoy answering them. Don't be afraid to ask me anything, and go out and share the love and enjoy life. Okay, bye.